Hey everybody, I'm Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa, and today we're going to have the most fun. Together, I'm going to show you how you can paint at home, following along with me, this gorgeous little jar with a little spring flower bouquet in it. It's just really cheerful and really happy and super beginner friendly. On the mic is my husband, John.
Hello.
He's going to help me bring this lesson to you by making sure the camera is pointing at what I'm painting, that you can see the palette and all the equipment is working. You'll hear him a little bit during the show. The other thing to know is that this is part, you may be just coming here to do this painting, but this is part of a 31-day painting challenge where we come every single day on my channel with a new lesson for you guys. And this is Acrylic August now. It's normally Acrylic April. Couldn't do it in April this year, so I'm doing it in August, which means you get 31 paintings. I think that's super exciting. If you want more information about that, check the description down below. The description down below also has the materials and just the other links and information you need to really take participation in this program or just enjoy this single particular painting. I don't expect people to draw, so there is a traceable on the website, and that's just free to download. You just go get that. But I do show you step by step how to do every part of this, every line, everything, if you just want to have that freehand experience. All right, guys, I think there's just nothing to do, right? Because we're doing this every day. So to get into it is get your paint, get your brushes, and come back, and we're going to paint this together right now. So today's fun project has an 8x8 surface. This is an 8x8 Art Alternatives canvas in classic cotton. That's my favorite one that I really like to paint on. These are available if you want to get these exact ones. These are available in my art store. You can find that link in the description below. But just any 8x8 canvas that you have will work. The paint I have is Mars Black, Burnt Sienna, Phthalo Green, Cad Yellow Medium, Cad Red Medium, Quinacridone Magenta, Ultramarine Blue, Phthalo Blue, and Titanium White. So pretty chill, fun, colorful color palette for today's painting. And there's really nothing to do since you guys know what the materials are, but to go to step one and start having some fun.
All
Do you
right.
like that?
Yeah.
Step one is having some fun.
Yeah.
And I think to do that, we're going to do like a streaky background. And I'm going to use an angle brush to get my streaky background. Just because it's almost like an inch wide. This is a 3/4 inch angle brush. You could use a braid here, but you just want something where you can do loosely mixed paint. And we're going to be bringing it down in sort of a vertical line. So we're going to get this brush slightly wet. Take any extra water off with my towel, and I'm going to come here and loosely mix. So right now it's just blue and white, and I'm going to loosely mix that. Just streak that down. See how that's very streaky?
Super streaky.
Yeah, we're just going to like let it be streaky. Let it be streaky. Kind of put my come from. So I'm not painting the whole canvas blue today because I'm really wanting to get the streaks in here. And I'm just wanting, I want to have a little more lightness under here.
Yep.
And I felt that doing an acrylic ground would cause me to lose that. And I don't want to lose that. I want to keep kind of this personality going on that background. So I'm being a little thoughtful about it, which is okay. Maybe a little more here. And just come back through there. So you can see I'm just trying to like get my strappies in. My stripy background. A little more white on that one. Now, one thing that I do want to do is kind of come around on my sides a little bit. You can paint your sides fully, or you can do what I'm doing here, which is just making sure the curve around your edges is painted. That's just for framing. Just vertically. Kind of a relaxing paint.
Yeah, it seems very relaxing.
I love it when you like lean into something like where it's, I'm going to go ahead and kind of get my edges here. I think ahead of time, just so that it's easier. So if you're painting the sides, maybe paint them now. And then we'll get our streaking edges. That way I'm not trying to match up the streak each time I go around. Okay. Bring a little bit of my blue out here. A little bit of my white. Kind of over anything that I feel like is too like prominent. Just a vertical streaking. I'm going to really lean into this. Very much like that. Get a little more white. All right, that looks pretty good. That's not too bad. We can handle that. We can deal with that. Just a little streaking background. Now to do the next part, I do want this all to be completely dry. So let's go ahead and dry this thoroughly. So here, I'm going to want to add a little ground, just someplace for my jar to sit, so it's not just floating in the air. I'm going to grab a little bit of my white and black and make gray. And do these again a little bit loosely mixed. I'm going to come across here, and I'll make it as level as I can. And get a little more white involved. Maybe come across here and come up just a little bit. On the edge of my brush, just to make a straight line. So you see, I just bring this brush vertically and then I come and make a straight line with it. I'm going to come here with a little more of my white. Streak out a little more background gray. You might get a little bit more dark right here. And kind of lighten it up. Let's kind of blend that down. Slightly brush over it before it's dry. Lightly brush over it before it's dry. Come back. Kind of blend that down a little bit. It's not too bad. Okay. Now I might want to come around the edges here just so that the edges of this look a little better. There we go. All right, now I'm going to want to dry it again. I know, a lot of drying.
Again, yeah.
Again, we're going to dry it again. Dry it thoroughly. So now I'm going to take a tool called a T-square ruler. This helps me draw straight lines, and I'm going to use a chalk tool. This particular one is the Dritz Taylor's chalk tool, and it's got the purple chalk in it just so that I can see it here. And you could just use regular kids' chalk here. I'm going to divide the canvas in half. Make a vertical line. And I'm going to come right here and get another in half and make a horizontal line. Now I can erase this chalk very easily, but it's going to give me some guidance for what I'm going to do next. Now, if you are using the traceable, you can do that now. And you can use the little squares to line up your traceable, but I'm going to show you how to freehand this all in. So I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to move my canvas just up a little bit for my convenience so that I'm making this in an area where I'm really strong. I'm going to come here and draw a little bit of, it's almost like a smile. And I try to kind of line the jar up halfway, 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 right? And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to make a matching little smile, a little smaller than the big one. And then I'm going to take my T-square again. This is going to help me with my straight sides of my jar. Come here again. Get those nice straight sides of your jar. Looks like it'll hold something, right? That's what we're looking for. And I'll slope the little shoulders up. And then join those little lips up. So that's just kind of like that basic jar. I can make a counter ellipse there to sort of talk about this being an oval. All right, and once I have that in, I'm going to put my chalk to the side. And I'm going to grab my round number 6 sepia round, any round brush that you have that has a good point. I'm going to get it slightly wet. I'm going to come here and very carefully come over these lines with a black line. If I need to get a little more water in there to improve the flow of my black paint so it flows off my brush nicely, I can do that because sometimes heavy body paint can get thick. Just a fine little line. I'll be doing like other kind of little painting here. This is just to help me know where my jar is. Just a little bit down. Get that kind of all going there. Now, I don't need my chalk anymore, so I'm going to take a brush. I'm going to get clean water.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to erase my chalk. On the outside of the canvas where I don't need it because I've got my like jar lines in now, so I don't have to worry. Now I'm going to dry everything so I don't drag my hand through the jar, smear the jar, do any of that.
Right.
Now I want to start putting some stems in here that will be coming in at an angle going from left to right downward and from right to left downward and then vertically, of all these stems sort of gathered in, and then just a little bit above here in my greenery. So I'm going to continue on with my round brush. I'm going to take my burnt sienna and my phthalo green together. I might even get a little of my black involved so it's quite dark. I will bring some lighter and lighter green in here, but first I want to kind of bring this in. Just going right over that line. Sometimes I get my brush in water to improve the flow. And what I'm going to want is a bunch of delicate little stems down here and it being fairly solid up here. You can see I'm just trying to make it as solid as I can up here. Gonna fill it all in. Now I can still see my black line vaguely. Just making this kind of solid. That's looking pretty good. I do like to have some stems like longer and some stems shorter.
Yeah.
I like to vary up some of my stems.
Stem randomness.
Stem randomness, man. You got to have that stem randomness. Now I'm going to take my very, very dark green, which is my burnt sienna, and my phthalo green, and I'll roll it off here on my brush. And I'm going to bring a little stem over. Just pull back just a few leaves. These are going to be like kind of hiding behind the flowers.
Yeah, it kind of gets you that the background in there.
Going to bring a little stem over towards the left. I'm going to press and release. So it's going to give me some nice leaves. Press and release. Just with my round brush. Press and release. A little delicate stem coming up here a little bit. Press and release. And curve a little bit, press and release. And so we're just getting some nice greenery built up for our wonderful little floral. And we're putting some in the background that our flowers can show around. That looks nice. Get a little water on my brush, be a little chill. Come here, mix a little burnt sienna into my phthalo green. Just chugging along in my relaxing painting. Just press and release. Maybe a little longer leaves there. See how we're doing kind of like longer little, more grass-like leaves. A little bit longer. So just press longer. It's a nice beginning of some greenery. Just kind of have those evenly placed out there. I'm going to rinse this out. I'm going to dry everything, and then we're going to come put some brighter highlights on there. So let's continue on refining down here in our stems in our jar a little bit. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of my cad yellow and a smidge of my burnt sienna and my phthalo green, and I'm going to make a much brighter yellow green. I'm going to come here and add some highlights to my stems. So these are just the brighter green, yellow green stems that are coming down here. That looks really good. I'm going to rinse off, and I'm going to take a little bit of my black over to my white. I'm going to come in here. Kind of paint my little ellipse here a little bit. I'm going to wipe off my brush. Take a little white. And streak that in a little bit on the bottom. It's kind of implying the bottom of that jar a little bit, right? Okay. Now, once this is dry, actually, let's dry it, and then we'll do the jar. We'll finish up the jar real quick. Because that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Be lovely. It'll be easier to do if it's dry.
Okay.
So now I'm going to want to come and put some details in the jar. I'm going to take my black at first. And I'm going to come right back across here again. And that's going to help put the stems inside the jar. I'm going to bring a little bit of a dark line right down here that's parallel. Come down here with my brush, and then I'm just press down a little bit harder at the bottom and kind of darken the lower corner of my jar. Kind of the same thing right here. And I'm going to bring a little bit of the dark back there, just to define that line a little bit. We'll rinse out. I take a little bit of black and I'm going to make some kind of little curves across the jar.
Sort of implying some shape.
Yeah, just a little bit. So a few little, I might kind of erase it a little bit so they're just sort of peeking out from the stems. I just went back with a damp brush before it dried. So see how that pushed the lines to behind? Just a cool thing that you can do.
That is cool.
Now I'm going to take my white. Bring that across here and start to paint in these reflections. Right across there, just a little bit. I'll bring this across just a little bit of shine. Dry brush down the side some and in. Maybe a little bit gray. Some little stripes for like this, the screw top of the jar. Go back into my white. Come here and add another little reflection. It's just a couple of reflections on your jar. Grab my little bit here. Just a little bit of front reflection on that jar. So just a little reflection to show the jar. So what we're learning is how to do a little bit to get a lot.
Right.
Might add a little reflection down in that shadow. Kind of bring a little gray down there, just trying to show up the glass. So you don't see what's see-through. You see the reflections or light that are cast on the object. Okay, so we have a nice little jar here.
Yeah.
We're going to dry it and we're going to start putting flowers in because that's going to be the most fun. So let's add some flowers to this. I'm going to grab my dark green very lightly on my round brush. I'm still on my number 6. And I'm going to arc out and down a very, very, very fine line. Arc out and down a very, very fine line. And then I'll rinse out. And I'm going to take my ultramarine blue and my quin magenta and a little bit of white. And I'm going to tap a very small dot, and this is loosely mixed again. Make a bigger dot that kind of comes across here. Just little touches where the little flowers are. As they come in, they're bigger. And we're going to be zippering them up this little stem. Just bringing them up the little stem. That looks really good. Rinse out. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my quinacridone magenta and my titanium white. And again, it's going to be loosely mixed pink. I'm going to come right here. I'm going to make a little half circle. And press back another little circle. Maybe pick up a little more pink. Press in a little pink there. Then I'm going to come here and teardrop pull a little pink there. I'll come right here and I'm going to do the same thing. A little half turn. Come back over.
Yeah.
Grab a little extra pink. And join that back in. I'm going to come up here. Maybe layered over this one right here. I'm going to pull a downward little petal. Grab a little more pink. Just a little bit there. I'm going to want to come up here with maybe a little bit of stem again. Just something that my flower can cling to. Maybe actually a little stem going off that way. I'm this time going to take a little bit of my cad red and my quin magenta together. Pulling these little sort of half circles. So these are sort of similar, and we're kind of using some of this and some of this to go through here. Little circles. There we go. Just bringing that down, bright pinks. So it's the cad red and the quin magenta and a little bit of white. Just down the little stems. Maybe put one over here. So they layer a little bit. Now I'm going to want to dry. so I can keep adding little details in and layering them over.
Okay.
And I don't want the colors that I have there to mix, so that's why I'm going to do this now. I want to start to fill in some of this. I'm going to take my phthalo green and my burnt sienna again and mix up a nice amount of dark green. Wipe off my brush so I don't have too much extra. And I'm going to come here and add a little bit of some leaves or greenery that the stem is connected into. And I'm going to go ahead and grab a little bit of green and yellow. And pull that down a little bit. Let's grab some green and yellow. And let's pull down a nice long leaf. Another nice long leaf. Maybe grab a little darker green. Come right across here, maybe. Nice long leaf. Get some more yellow. Just a little bit of leaves and stuff coming off the jar. Pull a nice long leaf right there and maybe grab a little more green gold. Let's grab a little bit of the green gold. A little bit back into the dark green. I'm going to paint a little green back in here because sometimes around the flowers there'll be solid greenery. A little bit there. A little leaf, a little leaf. Just kind of trying to fill in our jar. Bring a little green gold here and there. Second little leaf coming off there. Just trying to fill these out a little bit. So just real quick, I'm going to come in here. And I'm going to be painting big flowers over this. But I do want this to be a solid green. I'm going to bring this up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get a little green gold here. Kind of touch that to some of those little flowers so that they look a little more connected. Little green gold there. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to want to dry all of this pretty thoroughly.
Dry.
And then we'll come right back, continuing to paint. So I'm going to see if my orange will go over my dark green. If you have very inexpensive paint, or you bought a big giant set, you may end up having trouble covering the green with your paint. So what I may do is, even though my paint will definitely cover it, I may show you the workaround on that. That way,
okay, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have like really heavy body, highly pigmented paint, your painting will still come out. This is a trick for always the yellows and the oranges over dark colors when they might not show. So I'm going to put a little dot right there. That's kind of the center of my flower. And I'm going to just pinwheel petals right over what I've already got. In a circle all the way around. Once I have that in, I might make it bigger, like once I see it in. If that makes sense. That's pretty good. And then up here, let's do another one that's white. Put a dot in the center that we're going to aim for. Get a little water on my brush, thin my white out a little bit. Kind of roll it to improve the load. Wipe off. So I do a lot of little things to make sure that my brush is staying highly paintable. So just bring these little white so that way, if you have, whenever you have paint that's a little thinner on pigment and you're going over something dark, you want to go white first. Now, I'm going to dry this so I can do the yellow and the centers. Yeah. Dry it thoroughly, though. So now we're going to do the orange. So when you guys are doing this, whether you're just doing this one painting with me or you're taking part of the 30-day challenge, right? Well, whichever you're doing. Right now, what you're getting is a sense of your brush stroke. You're getting a sense of your color mixes and your brush strokes. I'm making a very yellow orange. I want it to be yellow, but I don't want it to be a dark orange. I'm going to come here and paint over my white. So you're learning things like how to paint light over dark, how to do a thick and thin pointed brush stroke, how to get value.
That makes sense. It's a good thing.
These are good things to know. All right, that looks good. Come up and do the top. Just cover the white. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, makes a really nice effect though.
It does keep the colors very bright. You just want your brush stroke directionality to bring the petals towards that center. So when you put the center in there, it feels like, you know, a flower on the center. While I'm here, I'm going to take my pink and white again. I'm going to come here and make another one of these little kind of rose type shapes. Just kind of filling in that little space there. See how I did? So I just added a little flower there. And I'm going to come in here and maybe tuck out a little bit of pink petals into those green leaves. Kind of zipper that back. So there's a sort of sense that there's pink there. Something. Sprig of something in. Now while this is having a dry, I'm going to take my white over to my purple, which was my quinacridone magenta and my ultramarine blue. I'm going to loosely mix that. I'm going to come here and do kind of a big little circle. And maybe across here, little circles. This is kind of like a sweet pea. Little sweet peas up there. These are having a dry while we're getting these done. I'm going to come here with a little bit of white, just pure white. And I'm going to paint a little stock flower coming down with just white petals. I haven't even put in a green stem, I'm just painting the white petals. I'll add some more greenery layered in as soon as I have more flowers in. A couple there, just like it's filled in, you know?
Yeah, just bring all the little flowers in.
Let's maybe curve this here. Mentally, it's going to curve like that. And I think we can bring one down here. Sort of bending down. You see, we're just painting the overall shape of the flower. It's contour, but we're not worried about like every individual petal that you've got going on. Rinse out a little bit. Grab a little bit of my purple over here and pink and white, a little bit mixed together. Maybe another little petal. Kind of bring some little pinks out there that are like maybe little buds. Because we might like some buds. Now, definitely, I want to dry everything. Okay, this is a good time to take a deep breath. Let it out. Painting of flowers are very wonderful, fun things to do, but it can be a little stressful if you're new. And you can get to holding your breath, so it's a good idea to every once in a while sort of take stock and pay attention to how you're feeling. And if you need a deep breath, take a deep breath in. Now I'm going to take my white over to my pink over here. And I'm going to loosely mix that in there. I'm going to grab a little dot, and that'll be my center right here. And now I'm going to just paint out a little pink flower. It's going to layer over my yellow flower just a little bit. Just a little bit pink flower. Kind of also like this Gerber style daisy. Just bringing the brush stroke in. Press and release. That's all I'm doing. That looks pretty good. I like that. Not unhappy with that. I'm going to rinse out a little bit. Now I'm going to take a little bit of my Cad Red and my Quin Magenta together. Maybe a little loosely mixed into the white. Put another little dot there. Paint another nice little daisy. This one will come around and go over a lot of the stuff that I have here, go over my jar. And you can see when it layers over the jar, it really helps the jar take shape. That looks pretty good. All right. Now, to do anything else, we're going to definitely have to dry this. So here we are. We've got these nice little flowers that are sitting out here. We're going to take a little bit of our brown and our black, loosely mixed together. And I'm going to just come into the center of the flowers. Paint a little dark center. Little brown, little black right there in the center. See, that just gives you little flower centers. Now we've got those kind of in. Just chill little flowers, chilling a little bit. I'm going to come here and I'm going to grab, I think a little of my purple. I'm going to come in and very carefully just sort of paint a little bit of a purple guy right there. Another little purple guy right here. Sort of filling that in. And then I'm going to come in and get a little bit of my green. Very carefully kind of tuck that around there. So I'm doing it since it's green inside there. You know, and some different little greenery layered over. Kind of painting around wherever I feel like there's a blue spot sort of showing through. So I'm just filling in with greenery. Add a little bit of greenery to the back of these. And there's some little stems coming out. Maybe a little greenery to the back of these. Some little stems maybe coming out. So yeah, they just kind of tuck out everywhere. Take a little bit of my yellow and orange. Kind of tap up and down a little bit in these centers too, just on that outer edge. Just on that upper half, just to give that a little bit of personality. All right.
Yeah.
Now,
a nice little jar of flowers.
Just a little jar of flowers. Just a little jar of flowers for us. I'm going to get a detail brush. This one right here, number 0. That should be very nice. Go ahead and get it a little bit wet. I'll grab a very, very light pink. Super light. Just get this very much lightly on the edge of my brush here. Come in and add some little highlights to these.
Oh, that really makes it pop.
Just a little bit. Just a few there. I might come into my white and purple just a little bit. Just a little bit of detail there. I grab a little bit of my white and thin it with clean water. Just so that it flows off my brush nicer. I'm going to come here. And white line my flowers a little bit. See, just a little bit of white lining just kind of takes it and makes it a little more flower. Just a little light lining. Also helps me find the shape of them. Just a little bit. But I don't worry about the light pink one because the white won't really show up on that one. So sometimes it's about knowing where you can get away with something and, you know, where it's going to be additive and where it's going to subtract. Now I'm going to take my black, thin it a little bit with water. That's just to improve the flow. Roll it off on my brush. This is a number 0 detail brush by Raphael. It's the Precision. And I'm going to come here and just in this little corner, add a signature. So what did we do today? Well, we painted.
Painted some awesome flowers.
We painted something today. We're going to paint something. If you're taking part of the challenge, you're going to paint something every day. Every day, it'll get a little bit easier.
And you learn a new thing.
And you learn a new thing. There we go. All right. When we come back, I'm going to tell you what we do next. So we've done it. We did it. We should do the little did it dance. We did it. We did it. We painted a painting. Got it finished. Got it finished. We did it on day 2. So maybe you ran it as a jar because you were just like, I just want a simple little jar of flowers to paint that isn't going to overwhelm me. But maybe you came here for the 30-day painting challenge, and I hope you did. Well, I guess it's 31 because it's in August.
Yeah.
So this particular challenge gets one extra day.
Plus one.
Normally I do this in April, but I'm doing this in August right now. So if you come back here every single day in August, you will find a brand new, super doable painting project. And I do this every year because this is my 5th year doing this with my community, because I really believe nothing makes you guys better at painting than painting. I think that's your number one magic secret sauce, is just practice and perseverance, and then trying different things and getting different techniques and not getting overwhelmed. And I think that that is the secret sauce to getting the inner artist that you have inside of you completely unwrapped and ready to be a gift to the whole world. That's what I believe. Now, if you just painted this with me or you're doing the challenge, there's some extra stuff to know. If you check the description down below, you'll see links to, I have a Facebook group. There are 2 Facebook groups. There's the Art Sherpa Official. That's my year-round group. You can share any tutorial you've done with me, and I've done like 2,500 anytime in that group. And it's a closed group, and we curate it, and everyone is really nice. And then, not that I have any groups where everyone is not nice. Everyone is nice in every one of my groups. That's just a given. Yeah. Then the other thing I have is Acrylic April. So even though it's August, you can still share this every day with Acrylic April. There's 10,000 people who've done Acrylic April before in that group. So if you're like needing some encouragement or you need somebody to cheer you on, there are people there that know exactly how you feel right now, and they can help you. So definitely check that out. Everything you saw here today is available for sale in my store. So if you're in North America and you'd like to get some of these materials and you're having trouble finding them, I've got these materials in my store. Right. So you can get those there, and that's a great way of supporting us. If you'd like to support great programs like this, I've got a Patreon. So you go over to Patreon and join that, and the patrons get extra videos and Zooms and all kinds of cool stuff. So you can go over there and check out what's going on with them if you want to do that. And other than that, you've just got to pat yourself on the back for accomplishing today, because you did a really good job. And I want you really, really to be good to yourself, be good to each other. And I will see you at an easel really soon. Bye-bye.